come in contact with them, it's like they say, yes, I'm free. Because we absorb all those feelings, we give them back the energy, and they go back into life. And we're left with these energies. The first couple of years that I did Reiki healing and I did healing work, my best clients were massage therapists. Why do you think that is? Because they were empaths. Where's the pain? I know where the pain is.
Why are you touching me?
You're an example. Let it go. It's not about you, not yet.
Like, why would you touching me?
But you know, the fact is that people would actually come to these massage therapists and they would know where the pain is, and by just laying the hands, they would be able to take it. And that is why we are sponges. Empaths are sponges. We will absorb that energy, take it away from you, but so many of us don't know what to do with it. We don't know where to put it. And that's where centering and grounding with what Uma teaches and what I teach is really astounding. But I can tell you, when you've got a really strong empath, the difference in teaching this is from hours to weeks to months. Why is this? One of the things that happened to me recently is I am very quick that if somebody is being intrusive into my mind and my thoughts, I will kick you out just like this. But the fact is, I am a giving, a caring person. So if somebody needs energy, if somebody needs help, that's in my nature. And that's what an empath is. It's in our nature to give. It's in our nature, to be a frickin' doormat. Because we just want other people to be happy. But on the same note, if we're around unhappy people, we are unhappy. If we're around people that don't like us, that don't think highly of us, we don't think highly of ourselves. And now I want to go back to the deviation of the norm. Abnormal is we are deviating from the norm. Now understand, only 15 to 20% of the population are highly sensitive people that actually can test, because we actually biologically have different things going on inside of us that science brought up. So when you want to say that you are different and you want to say it's emotional based, I want you to understand that psychology and science is saying you've got some markers in your biology that really make you more sensitive. And now the next thing that I want to say is we all can be sensitive, but if you've gone through a traumatic experience, if you've gone through a place where you were with an abusive parent, or you were with somebody that was an alcoholic, or whatever, you needed to judge what was coming up behind that door, you are developing that sixth sense, that ability to know what is behind that door and to keep yourself safe. We are all the sum accumulation of the knowledge that we have created within our beliefs in order to keep ourselves safe in life. So don't judge yourself other than the fact that maybe a child created this belief to really understand what is going on with somebody else to keep ourselves safe. But that's how we heighten this ability. But I want to throw a little wrench in there as I give a segue to my narcissist friend. That is not so different from being a narcissist. And the reason why I'm saying this is so much of the time a narcissist personality has been created by a limiting belief in order to keep themselves safe. Whereas I want to feel everything that's going on with somebody around me so that I can know what's going on and what's going to happen. They want to put the blinders on and say, I'm doing me and the hell with you. And when I say that, I want you to also understand it's not really the hell with you. It's they are keeping themselves safe, and they've got a goal. And when
You don't need to talk about the narcissist. I got that. Thank you very much.
Oh, wait. I just want to go back into, if you go into the law of attraction and you go back to Napoleon Hill, you go back to Clement Stone, they all say to have a singular focus. And so that is one of the beautiful attributes of being a narcissist, is you've got that focus.
Okay, so
I'm done.
Rob has talked about empaths, and now he's getting on my nerves because he's beginning to jump in on my part, what I'm supposed to talk about. And
Lord, help me.
I've told this fool,
Praise the Lord.
Don't be talking about my stuff, because that's what he does. So I think everybody understands what it is to be an empath. Like, let's get that clear, because everybody talks about the empath, blah, blah, blah.
Blah,
like,
blah, blah.
How great you guys are, wonderful, and blah. But when it comes time to talk about the narcissist, it seems to be very much in a negative vein.
And that's why I shared the positive.
Yeah, well, I don't need you to, because I will. So,
Okay,
hi, Amanda. Come on in. Welcome.
Hello, Amanda.
So here's my talk now, and hopefully Chatter McGee back here will shut up for a second so I can actually talk. So here's my thing. People that are narcissistic, we have a story, okay? And it's, to me, the emphasis is always on the empath, because the empath is always in their feelings and they're very sensitive. And the funny thing is, narcissists are sensitive too, but as Rob stole my point, what I wanted to say was that we do tend to have a different focus and a different way of handling things, not the way empaths handle it. Now, first of all, what is a narcissist? Now, a narcissist is really someone who is singularly focused on themselves. And there has been a lot of words and terminology that is negative in terms that's been used to describe narcissists. And I have like a page here of things. I was like, this is not even true. So I want to go over it because I'm pretty sure many of you that come on here, hi, Natasha Bell.
Hey, Natasha Bell.
Hey, Leanne. And I want to talk about narcissism, because this page here that I've written down notes. This is what society feels narcissists are. Now, again, I can't speak for all narcissists, okay? I'm only going to speak about myself, and I'm pretty sure whoever is narcissistic or have narcissistic tendencies, you might be able to agree with what I'm saying as well, okay? So one of the things that is written on here is that they have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. That is so true, okay? That is so true. Because we put ourselves first, so your needs, okay, aren't going to be more important than my needs. And that might sound harsh to some of you, especially empaths. That might sound really harsh to you, but you have to understand that goes in alignment with boundaries and what we talk about having boundaries. Now, I will tell you that growing up, I have developed a narcissistic personality because I had a very tumultuous childhood. And I had a lot of things happen that were out of my control, including sexual molestation as a child, witnessing many different things growing up in a third world country that I probably should not have witnessed. You know, I've just had some things that were emotionally hard for me. Not physically or financially. I was good on that aspect. My parents were great. But outside of the comfortable home my parents created for me was a very harsh life that I had to deal with, because I am also a highly sensitive person. And here's what I'm going to tell you, that I developed narcissism as a way to cope and as a way to make sure that I would never be taken advantage of again. So the one thing I would say that narcissists do, I do agree with this, where they say we have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. I would change that. I wouldn't say I'm unwilling. Clearly being in a relationship with Rob, he's an empath, I'm a narcissist. And what it really boils down to is having good communication.
Some
because
people might say I'm a narcissist.
Probably. I think we, honestly, I think we all are. Hello, Susan David.
Damn, that got a lot of hearts.
I really do, because Diana said it on your screen. I think Yaya said it on my screen, that, you know, that we do. We are half and half. Now, for me, I would like to say I'm more 90% narcissist and 10% empath. Rob is probably more 80% empath and 20% narcissist. The thing is like, it doesn't matter the percentages though. You want to understand yourself on a whole. They talk about here, narcissists expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. I call BS on that right now, because I'll tell you, I deserve all these achievements that I have received, and I deserve to be recognized for them. And I have 2 words for you. Steve Jobs, okay? He was one of the most classical narcissists out there. And you can't tell me that that man did not create or receive achievements. He did. And he was highly recognized for it. So to me, when I read that sentence as a narcissist, of course, I'm not thinking for everybody else, but when I read that sentence, what I picked up from it is, I do deserve to be recognized for the work that I do because I work really hard and I want to be recognized. Now, whereas an empath would have a problem asking for recognition, the narcissist won't. If that makes sense. Do you guys get that? Show me some hearts, or show me some conversations.
Show us some signs.
Show us some signs.
I will actually jump in and say, yes, I have a hard time asking for recognition, but I also am not doing it from a point of recognition. And that is the duality that's within me. So many people don't actually step up and give me recognition. It would be nice to have it. But what I've learned is so many people know where I'm coming from, where I don't need it, so they don't feel like they need to give it. But I will tell you, I would love recognition.
Right. And I think that's where the narcissists have a leg up on empaths, because with narcissists, we expect recognition. We expect validation for the work and the achievements that we do. So I've been known, when my clients, my students are like raving about me, I am not shy to say, rave about it on Facebook, rave about it on YouTube, come on in and holler and tell people, because I know I'm good at what I do, and I have no problem at all speaking up and saying, hey, go ahead and clap back, okay? Like, go ahead and tell people about me. But whereas with Rob, he might be a little bit more shy to do that.
It might take me 3 weeks to get up the nerve.
Yeah. So another thing here about symptoms of narcissism, they said we have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. I call BS on that one again, because here's what I'm going to tell you. I call BS on that. We do have a sense of self-importance. And if it's one thing you can take out of a page of a narcissist book, is that we are all important. We're important in our own right. And no one should ever make you feel less than. I don't care if it's your family, your parent, your sibling, your husband, your wife, your friends, your best friend from high school. No one should ever make you feel less than. So for me, when this is said, you know, narcissists have an exaggerated sense of self-importance, I'm actually kind of like happy about that, because I do feel I'm important. And the way I think about it is, if I don't take care of myself, my kids will suffer, Rob will suffer, my friends will suffer, my clients, my students will suffer. Now, I do notice that empaths have a different take about this. To me, empaths don't feel important enough. Oh, we have some comments coming in. I'm so sorry, guys. I've just been on my soapbox.
Well, and the truth is that empaths will always put somebody else before themselves. And one of the things that I've been noted for is, just at Illuminate, I had a woman come over and start talking to me, and then we went from talking to coaching to theta healing to me laying hands. And then I stepped over to Uma and she goes, "Your hands are cold." And then she put her hand on my back. She goes, "What happened to your energy?" I'm like, "I'm rebuilding it. I gave it all up." And that's what we do. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, you got lots of comments there too.
Okay.
Leanne said, "You're not a narcissist, Uma. You're a selfless person and care about others." But I actually am, Leanne. You don't know me. And I'm trying to tell you, this is the problem.
Oh, she is.
When I come out with my truth, people don't want to believe it. But that's the whole point of this Facebook Live, is I want you guys to know I'm not afraid to admit, to share with you guys that I am a narcissist, because I'm trying to change the dynamic we live in. I know many of you are empaths, and you're probably married to or in a relationship with a narcissistic person. So remember, the whole point of this is not to put down the empath or the narcissist. I'm trying to show the differences on how we deal with things. And then we can hopefully at the end find the common ground to come together.
Well, and I want to hop in here for a second, and I'm just going to go back to, there's a group that some people might be aware of called AA. There's another group called AlAnon. And so AA is for the alcoholics. AlAnon's for anybody that has been affected by somebody else with alcohol. And there's what's called a double winner. And that is somebody that actually has been affected by somebody else with an alcoholic, and that is actually an alcoholic. And now the fact is that this goes down to a limiting belief. This goes down to a belief that we've created in order to keep ourselves safe. And so as Diana brought up on my site, you know, it's a shutting down. How are you keeping yourself safe? So an empath comes about feeling everybody else's feelings and emotions. And a narcissist says, you know what, I'm fucking done with this bullshit because it's throwing me off. Let me just be focused. And so there's nothing wrong with either one of them, except for the byproducts of being one and not being balanced in between. Everything is about creating a balance in your life. The yin and the yang. Understand that a yin and the yang, the black and the white, was never meant to be a stationary symbol. It was always meant to be rotating, and that creates gray, and that creates life. And that's why we came back here to live and not just stay up there in utopia or heaven, but was to feel these feelings and emotions and learn better ways to handle and deal with them.
Endu says it's physically and emotionally draining with dealing with a narcissist. I'm going to teach you some things by the end of this as we go through this talk about how you can actually deal with a narcissist and not be emotionally and physically drained. Kristen says, I believe we're both. The glass is neither half full or half empty. It just is abso-freaking-lutely. That's what I want you guys to take away from this. We all have a part of narcissism and empathy within us.
Yes.
But you have to figure out like which one you identify with more. And then just, you know, like I have no qualms about saying to you guys, I'm a narcissist. I get it. But it takes such a load off my back instead of trying to people please and try to be something I'm not. Because the problem is owning the successful center that I have, people want to paint me in a certain light. I'm not that light. I am who I am. I'm Uma. And Uma is a wonderful person as a narcissist, as an empath, as a psychic, as a medium. She's all these things, but you guys can't paint me. I have to be who I am. You know, and Diana, I know you can totally get that because you hate when people paint you as well. She put in some comments there.
Yes.
As well. So.
And so let me hop in here.
Wait, I haven't finished my list.
You haven't finished your list. But when do I get to talk?
You talked before.
Oh, wait. No, I'm supposed to be the empath and
Yeah.
the narcissist. But I want to be the narcissist.
No, not today.
Shit.
Okay.
I'm feeling too much.
So another symptom of narcissism, this is us, like really for real, this is us. So they talk about, narcissists insist on having the best of everything. For instance, the best car, the best office. Absolutely. Because I'll tell you something, like I said, one day I'm going to come on here on YouTube and I'm going to go live and talk about my childhood and talk about the abuse I endured, not from my family, not from my mother and my father or my siblings, but from other people and the things that I went through growing up the way I did, you know, coming from a third world country to a first world country, being, you know, East Indian in a West Indian community, just everything. It was a lot. And the one thing I will tell you is I do require the best of everything. What was interesting is coming into the healing community, I knew I wanted to heal and I wanted to help other people. And I knew I wanted to make money doing that. I was really surprised to see the level of kickback from the community that I desired to have nice things. There was almost like this unspoken belief that healers who give of themselves more than doctors and nurses and anybody else, because we give of our energy, that we are not allowed to have good lives or pay bills or take vacations. I've been in groups that I've had to leave on Facebook because people would require free readings. Every time we come on and do one of these Facebook Lives, there's always that one person that's going to say, does Spirit have a message for me? You know, what do people want to know? It's always like, give me, give me, give me. Mm-hmm. And there's also this requirement that it has to be free. So I'm against that hugely. And if I'm going to give of my time and my energy, I expect to be paid, and I expect to be paid well, especially when I'm so damn good at what I do. And I've spent hours and years perfecting my craft.
But as an empath, if you call me and you're going through problems, my heart will take over and shit. There you go. There's your message.
And we used to get in fights about this. Honest to God, we used to get in fights about this when we first started dating, because I'm very strict with my time. Again, the narcissistic part of me. I'm loving the hearts. Thank you, Yaya. Thank you for all the hearts. But
those were from me.
I'm pretty sure. Hey, Kristen. So, you know, when we got into a relationship, I got into fights with him all the time, because he would book a client for an hour, and 2 hours later, he'd still be with that client, but he would only charge them for that 1 hour. Mm-hmm. And with my clients, if they booked me for an hour, we're in and out within that hour. Even if they're running late, we're in and out within that hour, because you will respect my time. And
that's why I can't work in a center.
Well, it's not even that. It's, for me, with empaths, my belief is that you guys have self-doubt, and you guys have issues with your security. You're like, there's feelings of insecurity there. So you feel like you have to give more than you said you were going to give.
Let me actually rebuttal that and say that growing up from a counseling point of view, one of the things that I hate is the freaking egg timer. Your 45 minutes is up. I know that we're about to uncover something. I'll talk to you a week from now or a month from now, and good luck getting back to this point. If I've got somebody that I'm feeling, that I know that breakthrough is about to happen, oh, hell no, I'm not letting you go, because emotionally, I know that you are right there ready to make that change. And that's where I hold people over.
And I mean, so Kristen is saying that she agrees with Rob because she does the same thing too about going over with clients. That's not a problem, because honestly, even though I'm narcissistic and I do stay to my timelines, let's be honest, if I have a client, like Rob said, and we're like on the precipice of something big or a breakthrough or transformation, and I don't have clients for the rest of the day, I'm gonna go over. There was one time I was so caught up in running this woman's bars. She booked me for an hour. We went to 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. And Melissa could talk about that, because she was the next client and she was waiting. She was like, I was wondering if you were here. But I was so caught up in it. It was just releasing and releasing and releasing. That's not a problem. That's the healer in me stepping up. And that's mm-hmm. another thing I want you guys to know, is that you guys have so many labels to you. Don't get caught up on a word. Like Leanne is struggling with me calling myself narcissist, because she says narcissistic is such a negative description. It's just words.
But Leanne, remember that it's the deviation from normal that creates abnormal. And Uma is working towards balance, so therefore it's pulling her back in to normal, but she is more on the side of narcissistic. But that's okay, because the law of attraction, actually from Napoleon Hill, dictates that you must have a singular focus in order to achieve. And look at what she's achieved.
I like the narcissistic part of me, because I don't think I would have achieved all that I did if I was more in my empathic abilities, because I probably would have let a lot of people step all over me, use me and abuse me, and I wouldn't have spoken up about saying no, like, you're not allowed to do that.
Now, is that my empathic ability actually standing up for you, or is that just a boyfriend thing?
It's your empathic. Yolanda says, as an empath, you gotta check your messages.
Oh.
Yolanda says, as an empath, it has taken me until my senior years to realize I am not going to do anything volunteer unless I'm going to benefit from what I am giving. I feel like I've given my entire life up for the sake of giving to others with very little to show for it materially. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for writing in. I don't have a problem with the empaths. The only thing that I have a problem with, and this is probably my narcissistic part coming out, is that I feel like you guys give and give and give, and then your energy, your time, your quality of life gets depleted. And I don't think that's fair. I think we all should be living these wonderful lives where we are free to give what we want, but then we're not giving out of obligation. And for me, many empaths give out of obligation.
So I'm going to let Uma, read these.
Diana said, amen, no egg timer. A lot of people are saying no egg timer. I guess nobody wants sessions with me because I'm an egg timer girl. Laurie Lee says, I keep telling Rob to tell me to stop taking during our sessions, to stick to an hour, and he's always so nice and let me talk. You know, and honestly, Laurie Lee, that's what he does. I mean, anybody who gets a session with Rob, more than likely you're going to go over. With me, we're not. We're going to end at an hour because you paid me for an hour, and I have lots of things to do, and that's just the way it is.
On the days where I have people backed up, we're done at that time. You know, as an empath, do I always feel like I could have done more? Yeah. But on the same note, when I walk into a professional environment, like and I, we were doing something for a chamber thing, and we were doing this whole presentation, and the woman came up to us and goes, oh my God, you all ended right on the dot. Well, there's different expectations, and when I'm working in a center where I'm on a clock, then I've got to turn and burn.
Well, and that's, you know, I want to move on to more things on my paper that I have to talk about. I don't want to stick on the egg timer thing. Okay. But honestly, it is unprofessional. I know you guys as clients, you love it, but it is unprofessional. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, a lot of my clients when I started out were coming from DC, and they were working at the Pentagon and the government, and time was important to them. So as much as many people love when a healer goes over, for me, the way I was trained when I started out was that my clients couldn't go over. They were on their lunch break. They came, they had to do a surveillance or something in Manassas. They stopped to get their treatment. They needed to leave on time. I've even had people pay me for the full hour and then tell me to cut it short at 50 minutes because they had to run out the door and get back to work. So, you know, don't look at me as a bad person because I stop on a timer. Not everybody wants the healer to go over and not pay them for it. There's many people who say, I need you to end on time, you know? So another thing about narcissists they talk about is that we take advantage of others to get what we want. So here's the thing. I don't agree with that. I don't agree narcissists take advantage of others to get what we want. What I do agree with is that I will create situations that suit my benefit. But I also am not crazy enough to create situations that suit my benefit that will endanger someone else. And this is a very important point I want to bring up to everybody. There is a difference. Now, many people think a narcissist is someone, exactly as this paper said, that will take advantage of people or hurt people to get what they want. That is actually called a sociopath. That is not a narcissist, okay? So if you have someone in your life that is abusing you mentally, physically, emotionally for fun, they're not trying to lift you up, they're not trying to grow you, they're not trying to ask you to do better or whatever else. They're just doing this to you, no rhyme or reason. That is literally the definition of a sociopath. The unfortunate thing is narcissists and sociopaths get lumped in together. Mm-hmm. And when I'm in a relationship with Rob.
Are you not?
He used to
let's
say,
actually go back to this.
He used to say all the time, like, I'm taking advantage of him. And I would say, I'm not. If I'm seeing things that you can do differently that can help you, I'm not one to not say it. Now, I will admit that narcissists, like Amanda just pointed out, you know, she said she's in a relationship with a narcissist and she's had to learn to communicate. That's the clicker. As we get to the end of this, that is a huge clicker as to what you need to do with a narcissist, because it was my way of communicating that made it sound like I just wanted all about Uma and screw Rob. And that wasn't, that wasn't the situation.
Okay. So really quick, the one thing about an empath is we are also a mentalist. We are a behaviorist. So we're not only just picking up what the feeling is in the way that it's being delivered, we are picking up the physical, emotional, and physiological effects that are going on within the person that's communicating with us. So if they're anxious and anxiety ridden because they need to get it done now, we are completely inundated with that. And whereas the narcissist is just saying, I need to move now, we're going, oh my God, could you get the fucking elephant off my chest? And that's, pardon my language, I know we've got kids upstairs, but that's where we're at, and it's so hard. And this is where communication has to actually happen, because the fact is that a narcissist is going to communicate very directly and very curtly. If we meet their energy where they are at, we will communicate back the same way. And then we have a fire that is a huge fire. But the problem being is the empath feels that they're shoving down their feelings. And then we go into physiological problems, whether it be gastrointestinal, whether it be the shoulders, whether it be fibromyalgia, and all these other things, because we don't feel like we can express because we've been shut down. But it all comes down to communication. And Uma read this great book on nonviolent communication, not violent communication. But I would suggest get the book, leave it on the coffee table. It did help.
Leanne is not letting us go. She said, okay, Rob makes clients feel like they matter. I'd rather pay more than be cut off.
Well, thank you, Leanne. Please come book a session with me. I love you.
And I would like to mention that my clients do feel like they matter.
And they do.
Even though they are cut off at the 1 hour timer. And I'm a little bit disturbed by that comment, but.
Now, let me tell you something. Uma and I, one of the biggest things that we've had to come up with is we are on the same direction in the train. We take two different paths to get to Union Station. But whether you are with Uma or you're with me, you are going to end up in the station that you are meant to be at.
Yeah.
In the time that you're meant to be there.
Yeah, because I don't agree with putting people down. Like the comment about, you know, Rob cares more or makes his clients feel like they matter. I'm like, my clients feel like they matter, you know, and hello, if I have any clients on here, can y'all speak up, please? Thank you. You know, my clients do feel like they matter, but they also understand my timing. I remember one time Rob was waiting at the center for a client and she was running late. And apparently she always does this to him. And it throws off his schedule, especially when he has to work the center, work his house, his home studio, and doing the driving back and forth.
At this point in time, I also had a 9-to-5 job.
Right. So he was like stressed out. My client, and there was like another day, my client was about to be running late for me, and she was having a panic attack. And she like moved hell and fire to get to my session. And she ran in there panting, like missing one shoe. She was like, oh, I was nearly late. I couldn't be late, because that's the respect that people have for me with my center. And when I told Rob about it, he was like, wow. You know, he was like, I don't get that at all. Mm-hmm. And the thing is like, what I'm trying to say about that is I like that, because I'm the same way. I see Julie's on here, yeah. Our photographer. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie. Thanks for joining us.
We were running late for Julie's center today. And
no, I ran late.
I did too. And we had a panic attack because we don't like to disrespect people's time like that. So we were writing Julie, can we pay more? Do we need to cut the session short? We were trying to figure out what to do to respect her time. So that's all I'm saying is, because I'm speaking up and saying my time is worth something and I have other things to do, I don't think I should be looked at negatively because I'm saying that.
Now, on the same note, the fact is that I internalize an awful lot. And so somebody shows up to me late. Somebody's not respecting our time. And then all of a sudden I run late. And then all of a sudden I'm late for somebody else. And I'm late for somebody else. The truth is that I will carry that internally all day.
See?
I will still meet everybody's needs, and I will go above and beyond. But on the same note, I also have my rationalization in my head. And for those that have been my clients, when you use the word rationalize, it is lying to yourself, okay? And I rationalize this by, does the doctor ever take you on time? You know, don't you sit in the office for 30 minutes? You can sit in the office. But it would be nice for everybody to be on time and everything to happen. But I am more flexible. And that's because of where I come from. But on the same note, there's nothing wrong. My dad was military, and he was also a pilot. He said, you've got 5 minutes of error. You are on time within 5 minutes.
Kristen said, charge them for the time over. And that's actually what I do. I don't want you guys to think like, you have to scroll up, babe. I don't want you guys to think that, you know, I just like, oh, somebody's like having a crying attack. And they're like, okay, we're done. Time's over. See you next week. I don't do it like that. I would say to them very gently, I know that you're processing something right now. I need you to know that our time is officially over. I don't have a client after you. If you want me to stay back with you and we can process this, I can, but I'm going to have to charge you. And 100% of the time they say, yeah, Uma, like stay with me. Let's work this out. I want to work this out. And we do it. And then I get paid for my time. And then like, as Rob said, I'm not carrying that internally with me for the rest of the day because I feel like I've been honored for the time that, you know, I spent with somebody. Here's another thing about, go ahead.
I've got messages over here for you.
Oh, okay. What did Diana said? Uma needs, go back down. Uma, when you get to know you, we understand you. Uma shows her clients matter by her quick response time to messages and emails and her forthright conversations.
And that is not my strong suit.
As your session starts, she gets right to it. When I have consulting sessions, I love it. Uma does need Trump time if it's important. I don't get that. Uma does need Trump time? I don't even know what Trump time is. Oh, Kristen's saying for Rob to charge them if they go over. That would be something for you to do.
And that is something that, you know, there's been times where I have, and there's been times where people have come back and said, yeah, here you go. But the truth is that I'm still in their emotions and their feelings, and if I know that they can't afford it or whatever, you know, that's an empath.
Now that's a different thing too, because Rob and I, what people don't know is that we regularly give away free sessions, discounted sessions. I have a mentorship program that I do every year from January to August. 90% of the people pay full price. And they do that because 10% of the people in that program are actually on a scholarship. And the scholarship is that they pay 50%. Because the truth of the matter is that people want to heal and grow and evolve, but not everybody has the money. And so if I know somebody is on disability, or they are retired and they're collecting a pension, or they're, you know, a single mom with 5 kids and they're working 3 jobs, I tend to give a break. So that is a truth that we do. We both do.
And it was only about 4 years ago that we got called out, and I got called out.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
I can't remember what the words were. Uma might remember, but
she said we were only doing it for the money.
Yeah, and the fact is, I do a lot of stuff for free.
But we don't talk about it. That's the thing.
I don't talk about it because when I give it for free, it is actually for the individual. It is for the fact that I love the essence of the soul of the person, and I feel that it's going to be worthwhile for me to do it. And for me, it's up to me.
And for me, I go to extreme things to hide who is on a discount with me. Like if they're doing the 8-month mentorship program, you'll never know unless they speak about it, because we do it like, you know, we don't have people pay at the center. They prepay before so nobody can see that somebody has a lesser rate than somebody else. Like we do it in a way to make sure that their identities are covered, because we just don't want people to look at them differently or anything else. I want to address Endu. I don't know if you're still here, Endu, because she was saying that it's hard communicating with a narcissist. They only want to get their point across. I want to talk about that because that is a true statement. The thing is, when Rob and I fight, we do fight. Everybody fights. Every couple fights.
I don't fight.
Shut up. We fight.
I don't fight at all.
We fight, Diana. We fight, Kristen. We fight. But I want to tell you guys something. In the beginning, when we used to fight, Endu, that is such a true statement. I wanted to be heard. And I'll tell you, that stems back to my childhood because I was never heard. And I remember, I love my mom dearly. Like you guys can never say anything about my mom, but I remember growing up, I asked a lot of questions, and my mom would say, I would say that Yaya's like, fight, fight, fight. So when I was growing up, my mom, I would ask questions and she would shut me down and just be like, stop talking, you're talking too much, you know, who knows, but like she would just shut me up. And growing up, I've had a lifetime of being shut down. So now that I've come into my power, right, when something is not right, I need to be heard. And this is what I'm talking about, Endu, is that with a narcissist, it's not that they don't care about you. They're not a sociopath. But first, they have to resolve in themselves the pain that they're feeling. And that's what opens up their ear to hear what you're going through. And I hope you guys can understand that. Because with Rob, what he would do is he will stay quiet and let me have my say. And let me say what is hurting me or what hurts me. And then he would give me the space to say it. And then he will empathize with it. And then he'll let it sit. And then he'll come back and say, now I want you to know how I feel. And guess what? I can hear him. I can hear him then.
And so as an empath, what was the word I was just trying to say? I totally just got lost. As an empath, I can be empathetic. But I can tell you as a counselor, as a coach, I need not be empathetic, sympathetic. I cannot take on your needs. I cannot take on your worries, your woes. Because when that happens, it changes the outcome. And so the truth is with emotions, emotions have to burn out. You cannot present logic with emotions. So when a narcissist is going with their view, think of a horse going straight forward. If you're in their path, they may or may not stop. They've got a goal, and they're just going to go.
Yeah.
You step to the side, and you grab the reins, and you say, now we're going in a trot in a circle. And you let them calm down. And use this as an empath, it's very hard because we get bogged down by their feelings and emotions that are going towards us. And with being a strong empath, even with doing mediumship, I have been coupled between somebody that's incarnate with somebody right in front of me, and you know what happens? The message goes away. I am lost in nothing but the feelings and the emotions, and I can't deliver the message.
Kristen says, especially little girls in European culture meant to serve the males. Kristen, I want to know where you're from because I figure, like, I think you said something earlier, and I was like, oh, you're not American, you're European. So just chime in when you get a chance, Kristen, because I want to know your background too. I really want to meet you and really sit down and talk to you and find out your story because I think you just probably have a really amazing story that what brought you to this path that you're on. I want to talk about some things now that really are true for narcissists that's on this paper, because mostly I've been kind of like just going through and saying, nope, 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 nope. But I want to actually talk about some things that are true about narcissists that you guys can understand, okay? We have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. That is such a true statement. I live in fear. They call it the imposter syndrome. When people, especially like healers on the healing path, when they feel they're not good enough, and sometimes it really debilitates me. Like when I want to start something new or do something new, it's debilitating to really put myself out there because I'm like, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? But then there's this inner force, this spirit that's driving me and saying, but do it. Trust us. Trust that it's going to be okay. So I do want to let you guys know that narcissists, we do have secret feelings, and that's what presents as rage.
So let me actually throw this out there. How many empaths in the group actually have those same feelings?
Thank you for joining.
But they express them differently. And that's what I want everybody to understand, is that so many of the feelings are the same, but it's how we're expressing them.
And the other thing that I wanted to jump in with, sorry, Leanne said, we two are just meant for each other. And I agree, Leanne. We are meant for each other. But the other thing I want to say is with narcissists, when we feel vulnerable or within our feelings, you know, with all the stuff I just said, we don't react with fear, we react with rage. Now with the empaths, they react when they're scared, they react with fear. So they shut down, they get emotional, they get fearful.
Are they not both the same?
With narcissists, we react with rage. And technically, you know, there's only two emotions in the world, love and fear. So everything comes back to fear. But I don't want to say it in this sentence because I don't want to lump it in together. I want to acknowledge the rage that is there. You know, I used to say all the time, I'm the Hulk. When, you know, people say like, what kind of superhero are you? I'm the Hulk. I got just a simmering anger at any given moment in time due to many, many things that have happened in my life. But the thing is I'm learning how to channel that anger for the greater good and to not channel it. Rob used to say to me when we got together, he said, look, go out there and cause hell, stir it up, but come home to me and leave that at the door, you know? And I would. It
worked so well for me. Holy shit.
It would, because I would just be like, you know, anything that happens out there in the world, I want to stand up. I want to fight. I want to talk about it. I want to get on my soapbox. With Rob, he's more like, I'm going to internalize this. I'm going to feel how I feel about this, and I'm going to sit with it.
I'll be back to you in 3 months and let you know.
Yeah, Amanda said, before I learned to properly communicate with my narcissist, I felt shut down all the time. I never felt comfortable voicing my thoughts. And I'm pretty sure that's what Endu feels and anybody else who's with a narcissist. And I can understand that now. I can understand that now because it's taken me so many years to understand. Like when Rob says to me, I need you to hear my feelings. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, but you know, again, I do the thing that somebody else mentioned. I said, but what about my feelings? And then the way I look at it is, if you want me to pay attention to your feelings, then you're not, again, you know, giving credence to what I'm feeling. So when he learned that I wasn't really just trying to shut him down, I really couldn't hear until I was heard, because he's empathic and you guys are more givers than receivers. He was able to give that to me easily and not feel less in his manhood or in his self-esteem, because he was like, oh, this is what she needs. And then I can be heard. Oh, no problem.
The trick is that I had to step out of being empathic to be sympathetic. And I had to really understand what was the goal here. Emotions have to burn out. If somebody is going through, and if they've got their blinders on and this is where they're at, step to the side. Unless you really just want to fight, step to the side, let that energy, let those emotions burn out, and then think about the way that you're going to proceed within the conversation. Don't poke them. You know, I do it all the time, but...
Diana said something really good. Why do you care what people think as a narcissist? Now, the funny thing is, I actually don't care what people think. But, if they touch on one of my hot buttons, I care. So that's the thing right there. So you're right. Narcissists, we don't care what people think. But if you touch on one of my secret pains that you have no clue about, you're just spouting shit out there, then I am going to care, because I'm going to be like, ooh. Like one of the things that my friends over the years have talked to me about is all the shitty healers in the spiritual community that backtalk you and gossip about you and stuff like that. Now, I do care, because remember that imposter syndrome. So when you have that imposter syndrome where you're always wondering, am I a good healer? Am I a good reader? Am I a good person? Then when you have these shitty people out there that are trying to tear you down instead of lift you up, you're going to buy into it, because you're like, oh, they must see me. They must see the real me. I'm not a good person. Do you understand? Does that make sense, Diana? So on the majority,
make sense to both sides, the empath and the narcissist. I just want to let you all know that it's the action that is created from the belief internally that is changing everything.
Kristen says, oh, I poke them. And then she said triggers, and Amanda said, don't poke the bear. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
I love putting a fork right in that bear and saying, ha ha.
So we've talked for an hour. We didn't get through the whole list. Rob's been extra chatty tonight.
Hey, but you know, I could have talked more about an empath too.
So we're going to open it up to you guys and ask, like, go ahead and ask your questions or make your comments. You know, what that you'd like us to talk about or address, or if you have any questions on with the empath or the narcissist, or even just your own observations. Let's have a discussion here, guys. Yes. Laura. Oh, hi, Laura. Laura says, can't be there for others if you don't put yourself first and protect yourself. You can learn to have the best of both. Diana is working on it, and I have found things are best when we both have that balance. Pain of childhood and trauma as adults bring you to that path. It's all labels. I tore hours off 20 years ago. And then Diana said, Laura's a narcissist.
Oh, Diana, you didn't have to tell us that. The truth is, we're all dealing with our past issues. When I was at Erickson University in Canada, I love, and this is one of the bases of my practices, we are all the sum accumulation of what we've learned in order to keep ourselves safe. So whether you're being an empath, trying to know what somebody is about to do, are they going to hurt me or not, or whether you're saying, I don't give a shit if you hurt me or not, I am moving forward with my goals. They are just a belief that you created in order to meet whatever it is you're trying to do.
Kristen said, great topic and honesty. Amanda said, secret pains. And Endu said, I think a narcissist actually cares what people think because it makes them feel vulnerable. That's a big true statement there too, Endu, because one of the things that's on my list is that we have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. So you're absolutely right about that. We do care what people think because, you know, it's a reflection on us. One of the things they said here is that narcissists feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection. I can't begin to tell you about my struggle with perfection. And in meeting Rob, I've had to learn how to let go of perfection. Now he's very, if you guys can't tell by now, he's very easygoing. And he's
I'm also a perfectionist.
You are, but not to my level though. Like honestly.
I don't see it because I internalize it.
Well, there you go. That's probably true.
I also, for those of you all that do not know, I was diagnosed learning disabled in the 1st grade. I have handicaps that hold me up from being the perfectionist that I would like to be.
Oh, Amanda said, thank you for chatting. I will be sharing. Yay.
Yay, thank you.
That's awesome, Amanda. Thank you so much. So what questions do you guys have? Kristen says number 2. So what questions do you guys have that we can answer for you about the narcissist and the empath? So as you guys heard tonight, we had a coming out party. Uma's a narcissist. Rob's an empath.
But, you know, some people might say I'm a narcissist.
Diana said, Leanne commented, hit a hot spot, and Uma, you changed. You got defensive and hurt. Why did you allow that? I didn't get defensive. The thing is I want what Leanne did, and I love Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Leanne knows we love her. I love Leanne because Leanne brings up topics that's good for discussion. You know, so I love Leanne because she doesn't
poke the bear.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that she pokes the bear. I didn't get defensive. What happened was I wanted to address it because what Leanne said was what 90% of people are thinking. So that's why I love you, Leanne, for posting that, because that's exactly what I wanted to go to. And I was like, yeah, I got to address this, because I thought at that point in time, everybody was getting what I was saying, but she was repeating back what is the majority consensus out there.
And Leanne is also an empath.
Yeah, Leanne's a very strong empath. Absolutely. Amanda says, I love how you guys decriminalize narcissistic tendencies and empowered empathic tendencies. Thank you. That's what that's exactly literally what we wanted to do when we came on here tonight. But I'm going to
put her in handcuffs later.
Yeah, he will. No. Ooh, you know, it's like, no. Hi, Lori. Melissa said, this gave me so much clarity on this topic. Beautifully genuine in this presentation. Thank you, Rob and Uma. You're so, so welcome. You know, Rob and I are going to be we do Facebook Lives once a month. And we picked some topics to bring out next year, you know, for you guys, because the thing is one of my pet peeves about the spiritual community is they're not approaching or talking about these hot topics. And we need to, because it's on everybody's mind. Like Endu said, and many of you said, you live with a narcissist. What do I do? This is draining me. And, we did have to talk about that. How to, and I'll let Rob handle that. We just had a couple people join.
Oh, wow.
Leanne said, oh, don't use a learning disability as a handicap, Rob. Kristen said, I want to know why it is important to let a narcissist, and I've been called one, so no judgment, run out of steam while the empath sits quietly. That's a good question. But so go ahead and answer those two together, like what you can, because they kind of like run along the same thing.
The first thing is, I don't use being learning disabled as an excuse. I actually, and for those of you out there, I would love to talk in front of groups of learning disabled people.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the things that my mom really wanted me to do. And YouTube is all over the place.
Sorry, guys, I'm signing off. Yeah, because
Bye-bye, YouTube. But the fact is that, you know, we talk about PTSD. It's something that we don't see, but people actually have to deal with it. You know, for those of you that have followed me on Facebook or anything else, you might have seen my grammatical errors. You might have seen my typing errors. You might have seen the fact that I don't spell worth a darn. But as for an IQ, it is extremely high. My brain thinks extremely quickly. And I never understood all this, oh, you need to do this and this and this for people to understand. But I will tell you that nowadays when I have my computer read back what I've said, I understand they didn't quite understand me. But the fact is that my brain is thinking quick, and I just, out of sight, out of mind, one of the things I call it lazy mind. Now, the truth is, why do we as an empath have to let a narcissist run their path and internalize it? The fact is, you're picking up every one of the feelings that they have. And if they are angry at you, you are angry at yourself. If they love you, you love yourself. Now, the truth is, energy begets energy. So if you are matching a narcissist's energy when they are singularly driven for this is where they are going, you've got two bulls in an arena. And you know what? The fact is, you're going to feel more. And it's going to hurt you more. So don't meet them head on. You know, one of the things that Uma's learned about myself with her being Capricorn is I'm a bull. And people have told her, don't push him. He won't move.
And what does this little sea goat do? Push.
And I stand still. As soon as she actually identifies, you know what? If I actually showed him something shiny over here, a carrot where he needs to go, he's going to go. We need to match that understanding of if you have a narcissist that is singularly focused, step out of their way, as I said earlier, grab their reins, and let them walk, but also move from being empathetic to sympathetic and get your emotions out of it.
So Rob answered Kristen's question. I'm going to answer Endu. How do you step aside for a narcissist to go through their turbulence without feeling, one, not as important, two, not giving a shit after going through the roller coaster so many times? I'll tell you, one of the things that Rob was surprised at is I don't budge when people say mean things to me. And I want to share that with you guys because I think it's a technique that I've developed over my years. And I think if I share it with you guys, it will be very helpful for you. I grew up where sometimes, you know, my dad would curse at me or boyfriends in the past would curse at me. I've been called all sorts of names, bitch, slut, whore, whatever, you know, all this other stuff. So I've grown a thick skin about it over the years. So what I'm going to tell you is when people are angry, most times they're not saying what they really feel about you. They're just saying things to hurt. It's torpedoes being sent your way, but they feel remorseful and sorry afterwards because they didn't mean to say that. They're just angry and they're acting out of anger. So that's why when I've had, you know, I've had people come at me, like my past students or clients or whatever, just talking stuff about me, it doesn't faze me because I know they're angry. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, when people are just sitting around, they're not angry at me and they're just talking about me, that's going to bother me. But when they're angry, I tend to be like, okay, well, you're angry. I get that. When I get angry, I say shit too. So for you, Endu, what I would say is first of all, I'm going to tell everybody right now, if you don't like living with a narcissist or you don't have the wherewithal to handle them, get out. Just get out. I'm never going to tell anybody stay in a place where you don't feel comfortable. But for those of you that are in love with this person, or you can't, for whatever means, leave this person, I'm trying to give you coping techniques to understand it better. Because again, I don't believe that anybody is wrong or there's anybody bad. I just believe that we all have our own stories. So if you are with a narcissist and then you start presenting these techniques to them and whatever, and they're not changing because they really just don't give a shit, and you're like, I can't do this anymore, then don't do it anymore. But for the majority of people, if you have an honest heart-to-heart conversation with a narcissist, they're going to listen because they don't like how they feel when they do these things to you. They're not cold and callous. Remember, they're not a sociopath. They have their own crap too. So Endu, how do you step aside for a narcissist to go through the turbulence without feeling those things? You see it for what it is. You don't get your emotions involved and you don't let it sink in. You know, I love to say to my clients, a ship, you know, is going to sail on the water and never sink. Like a 2,000, 3,000 ton ship, it's not going to sink. But how does it sink? If there's a hole in the hull and the water gets in. So if there's a hole in you, not saying that you're holy, but if there's a hole in you in terms of whatever people are saying about you and it lands, what I look at is there's some part of me that believes that. So now it's less about. So if somebody was to call me, say, that hurts me, what I tend to do is not go after that person because I'm more concerned about, why do I feel I'm a bitch? What is this about? What is this about with me that allows that to get in? Does that make sense, Endu? I hope it does. And I hope for those of you listening that makes sense as well. Amanda says, go see, go. It's boundaries. Yeah, absolutely with the boundaries. Absolutely.
And for those of you that were on my page, we just came back on. Apparently I lost connection. But understand that the problem with being an empath is we are so into not only our feelings, but theirs.
Yeah.
And one of the things that truly will dictate an empath is all of a sudden, you know, you get older and you've got different groups of people. And who has had a party and said, oh, I'm not going to invite this group. I can't invite this group. And all of a sudden you get older and all of a sudden they're all together and you don't know how to react. Why? Because you react differently with each group. You embrace the group that you're with, and that's who you're with. And it can be out of character for other groups.
Now, Rob and I, we don't have all the answers. We are just an empath and a narcissist in a relationship.
Oh, wait, I've got all the answers.
We don't have all the answers. So from the talk tonight, just take what you can, what fits, and then the rest of it, just let it go. Don't try to make it fit. If it doesn't fit, then that's not your truth. What we're saying here is not your truth, okay? And that's okay too.
Yes. And that understand that you can be a narcissist one day and an empath the other.
That's the truth.
And understand that I think most narcissists were empaths at one point and decided it's not working for me. I'm not achieving the goals that I want to achieve by having everybody else lay their junk on me and me being emotional. And they made a statement to themselves. They created a belief that said, I will not be walked on anymore. I'm going on my path. But understand, if you step in front of that path, you might get mulled over, and their idea of picking you up is probably kicking you and saying, why are you on the ground? You have something else to do. But they're also going to be the person that says, you know what, you're not achieving everything that you need to achieve, and they're going to push you.
You're welcome, Endu. I'm going to just end, not end, but I'm just going to say something that my friend Benita Woods shared with me, because I love Benita. She's one of my good friends, and she's a great reader, psychic medium, Akashic Records reader, healer. And I was talking to her yesterday and telling her that Rob and I are doing this Facebook Live video and talking about empaths and narcissists. And I said, I first started by saying I'm a recovering narcissist. And she said, no, Uma, own it. You're a narcissist. And I love my friend because she just loves me as I am. And she just didn't see it in a negative light. And she said, because she said her family, she comes from a family of narcissists. And she said, the one thing about you narcissists, you guys are visionaries and you have a vision. And the thing is that you're so singularly focused on your vision that when people get in the way of that, you tend to get very angry or lash out, or you can seem very selfish, but you really are just focused on your vision, and it's about your vision. And that just put it in such a whole different light for me, because I was like, you know what? I've never seen myself. I know I'm a visionary. I know the things I do are out of the norm, out of the box. I'm like the first one to do it, then other people do it. But I never thought about that as being part of the narcissistic trait. And then she said something, because Endu had asked, I feel like they care. She said, the other thing about narcissists is that they're highly caring people. They care a lot about people. But again, if you mess with their vision or their plans or their goals or whatever they have going for themselves, you are not going to hear the end of it. So I wanted to share that and just give a big shout out to Benita Woods for saying that to me, because it was very humbling for me to hear that.
So I want to jump in here and say that, Uma is talking about narcissism, and there's such a bad connotation to being a narcissist. And when we talk about being an empath, there's such a feeling of victim. And so both are coming out as victims. And I don't want anybody in this group to feel like they're a victim. Use the power that you've got within the belief that you created to go through life to create the life that you want to have. And understand that you have the power. And you also have the power to move from being empathic to sympathetic to being a narcissist with your vision. And as an empath, you don't have to take on everybody's feelings. You don't have to be the person that everybody dumps on and then runs off and feels energized.
Diana said, thank you a lot. Answers a lot of my questions. I just want you guys to know that my big vision, one of the things that I really don't like is, there's a term for it. It's called spiritual bypassing. Do you guys know what that is? Spiritual bypassing.
Did I do that on my motorcycle?
I don't like it because I've been doing this work for 10 years professionally. And being in the spiritual community, I've seen a lot of spiritual community leaders do spiritual bypassing. And this is kind of like what it sounds like. Oh, you have breast cancer? Oh, you manifested that, so just unmanifest it. Oh, your dog died? Well, don't grieve for him. He's in a better place. Spiritual bypassing is not accepting where people are at, where the pain lies, and they're always giving advice about how to move through the pain quickly and effortlessly. Listen, I believe in the pain. I believe in the pain, and I believe we need to feel pain. That's the whole point of coming to this Earth planet and going through what we're going through, is so we can feel the good, the bad, the ugly, and still live through it all and still have a human existence. What I'm trying to create is a community of people where we can sit there quietly and hold someone's hand while they talk about their pain and not feel the need to fix them, or to bypass what they're going through with words of affirmation or crystals or whatever else. And I need to see a change in our community, and I need to see a change quick, because this stuff's getting on my nerves. I don't know. Does it affect anybody else, or is it just me? Is the narcissist
So let me
here?
hop in there real quick.
Yeah.
When I came into this community, I was running with a bunch of bikers.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that they weren't going to be understanding for what I was moving into. The truth is, I actually found that they were more open and understanding,
Yeah.
and less criticizing than this metaphysical spiritual community. They're like, you ride a Harley, you shoot guns, you eat beef. Who the hell are you? It's like, come on, people. We are all here living a life, And don't cut yourself out of living. Put yourself in living. Have the experiences, have the knowledge. Set yourself up for when you make that transition, that you have a better vantage point.
So, go ahead.
Be more compassionate and understanding for where other people are.
I'm going to answer Endu's question, and then I want to tell you what Yolanda said. Yolanda said, Rob started by talking about 12-step programs. This empath checked out a CODA group the other night. And Endu said, I feel guilty for caring for myself and not others. It's a slow process, but I'm learning to care for myself too. I really love that. And I'll be honest with you, Endu, I was there, you know, because the one thing that we don't take into consideration is that people do make us or allow us to feel guilty. So don't take 100% of that on by yourself and say, like, this is all you, because I know for a fact that people make us feel guilty when we decide to put ourselves first. I have a lot of clients. Like I said, I've worked on close to 10,000 clients over 10 years. And I've seen a lot, mostly women, talk about their significant others or grown children or grandchildren that make them feel guilty for taking time away from family time to come to a class or spending money on a service. And then that would eat them up. So Endu, pay attention and be aware to who's around you. And if I'm pretty sure 100% of that guilt's not coming from you. And there's a thing that I do when I start to feel like icky feelings, guys, and I'm like, the first thing I do is I say, who does this belong to? And if that lightens up in any kind of way, I know that this does not 100% belong to me. And then this is what I do. I say 3 times, return to sender, return to sender, return to sender, with loving consciousness attached. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't want to just send it back to people. So they're now in the muck and they send it back to me and we're going back and forth. I send it back and I say, be aware of what you're doing and you're displacing on me and I don't need you to displace on me. You wanted to address Yolanda?
I will never take anything away from the 12-step program. I think it is just extremely, incredibly strong. And anything when you're looking towards something that is a higher source than yourself and you come into it. And I was a grateful member of AlAnon for 4 consecutive years. I've got the chips. Went to many AA open meetings. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Yolanda said she took someone to their first codependent anonymous group and found the room of empaths. Yeah.
Yes. And the fact is that a lot of the people in the AlAnon groups are empaths too. And just understand and have compassion and understanding. But the truth is that very few people are going to go into the plight of an empath and actually give you the tools to actually make the strides that you need to make. And it's very hard to understand the plight of an empath. You know, I actually and I've taken this from theta healing, tapping myself here, and I've made a joke. Not today, Alice, not today. It doesn't belong to me. And you've got to bring in that kinesthetic. But the fact is that an empath is fighting their nature. Our nature is to care and to give and put ourselves second. And until we actually go through and understand the essence of our true nature, we can't actually make the change. One of the things that we say in access bars of consciousness is the things that we've deemed righteous and true are so much harder to change than what we deem as wrong. And our nature as an empath is to put other people first, to take on their bad feelings, their bad emotions, and we need to learn how to let that go and disperse that. And that takes time and it takes practice. I do have an empath support group. It meets twice
a month.
Once at Lotus, once online, twice a month. And we talk about different things that people are going through. Because the truth is, every empath is different. How you're internalizing it is how you're internalizing it. And we've got to come up with something that you can witness, taking another word from theta healing or from the Bible, You have to witness this within your emotional state, within your imagination, to be able to let it go. And until we actually find the core of the essence of why you want to take on everything from everybody else, to be the victim or to be the savior, everything's going to fall on its heels.
Diana said, I think you rock in your own ways. That's where knowledge is, and grateful for you both. We love you, Diana. Thank you always for supporting us when we come online. And I will
be coming back to Roanoke.
He is. He's trying to come next week. And I will add.
First week in December.
First week in December. I will add to what Rob was saying about his empath support group. It's not just for the empaths. Narcissists, attend that group and get in on seeing what you do to empaths, okay? Like,
that
seriously.
Make my life harder.
I mean, like, honestly, like, seriously attend it and find it out. How can you, let's talk about how you can get your narcissist to change. First of all, if I'm speaking honestly here, like, why start now? No.
Date a very good, sympathetic empath that has counseling skills.
I would say that, yeah.
And the patience of Job.
Yeah, I would say that. But first of all, I will tell you, if you come to a narcissist, and this is from my own personal opinion, if you come to a narcissist acting like you know better than they do, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. We immediately are going to tune you out because we know everything. We know the whole world. We know everything. So
like a 13-year-old.
So what has worked for me is really exactly what Rob just said: his empathy, his sympathy, and his patience. Because the thing is for those of you that want to save your narcissist, you have to first of all believe in your narcissist. You have to believe they're a good person at heart. And they didn't come out the womb saying, I'm just gonna go around and fuck shit up. They didn't come out the womb like that. They came out the womb and went through some life experiences that made them who they were. So if you have unconditional love, and what is unconditional love? I love you without condition. If you have unconditional love for this person and you can see their worth, then this can work. You can make it through. But if you are desiring things from your narcissist and you're not willing to go through the process as they change, because it's not going to happen overnight. If, like for me, when Rob met me, I was 35, 36. So I've had a good 35, 36 years of being who I've been my whole life. And if he was to come in and say, this is what I want in a relationship and you're not giving it to me, so I'm out of here, we won't be here today. But what he realized was this was a good fit. And he realized that this girl does have potential and she does have a good heart. So we're going to try to work this out and see where we go from here. I think you have comments.
But on the same note, I have actually had to put up healthy boundaries.
Yes.
And state, you know what? The thing about being an empath is we take things on physically and it can shut down our body.
Yeah.
And I've had to say, look, if you want me to be here, stop this shit.
Yeah. He's broken up with me several times.
Yes.
In our relationship. And it's been fun because I would snap back.
We all need a hall pass occasionally.
I snap back real quick. I'll be like, ooh, not so narcissistic now. Here comes the empath side of me.
God alone.
So that's our talk tonight about the empath and the narcissist. Thank you all for this lively discussion. I'm going to shout out some names of those of you who've really participated: Diana, Kristen, Leanne, Yolanda, Amanda. Just thank you guys so much for the lively conversation.
I'm going to poke the bear for a second.
Okay.
And I don't suggest you do this. Thank you, Kristen Gilbert, for jumping ships and coming over to the healing frequency.
I'm pretty sure she got cut off and then she just found your thing and that's why she's on there. So don't be trying shit.
See?
Kristen's my friend. She's my friend, not your friend.
Thank you, Kristen.
So do you guys have any more questions? We've been doing this for 1:20 now and we're getting ready to wrap up. So do you have any questions that you want to ask or anything that you have learned for your own situations that we've helped with, or are you guys ready to say goodbye? Amanda said, thank you so much. Leanne said, love you guys. Love you, Leanne. You're such a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much, girl. for coming to us.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Do you have anybody saying anything on yours? No?
Oh, I think I need to scroll down.
Yep. Diana said, just got to chip that narcissist away to our point of view. LOL. that narcissist Laura, right?
Uh-huh.
It's just poor Laura. She'll be like, I'm going to get you. Yolanda said, I enjoyed. Awesome.
Awesome.
Before we sign off, I want to let you guys know we have a really special event coming up January 11th and 12th. It is the New Year, New You workshop. Watch a narcissist and an empath work together. What we're going to do is peel away the layers of hurt, pain, shame, blame, guilt, everything for the past 10 years. Because I don't know if you guys have realized 2020 is the start of a new decade. So Saturday, Sunday, January 11th and 12th, we are doing Saturday is called Out with the Old, where we do cleansing, clearing, healing, rebalancing from the past 10 years. And then Sunday is In with the New, where we set our intentions, our manifestations for the next decade, and we put the group energy, the vortex energy on that to make your dreams come true.
And now, what you all might not realize is the empath is pulling the Band-Aid off everything, and the narcissist is putting you back together.
Yeah, pretty much. So we do have an early bird deadline. If you sign up before December 1st, it is only $295 for the whole weekend, the Saturday to Sunday. And it includes your lunch and all your refreshments and all your materials. And you also get special access, free access into my 2-hour abundance and manifestations workshop on the following Wednesday night. So hit me up if you don't know how to find the link to sign up. I can send you the link. Rob can send you the link.
Yeah.
Or you can just go to our pages and find it there. Leanne said, TikTok, Uma, the clock is ticking. LMAO, just totally joking with you.
What is she saying? Are we getting older?
I don't even know. She says being a smart ass here. I don't know what the TikTok is about. I was like, what? I didn't get what the TikTok was about.
2020's coming.
Oh, okay. So that's what it was. Marilyn just joined in. Marlon Martindale from UK. I'm so sorry, love. We're now signing off. But listen, you can catch the repeat.
Hold on, wait. What? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning in the UK, right?
I don't know. Marilyn would have to tell us.
Was he out at a bar?
Marilyn, it's a woman.
Oh, was she out at a bar?
I guess. Marlon, were you out of the bar?
I'm checking my phone.
You need to check you need to scroll down because you got some people to say goodbye to.
Check me out.
She said time's up. Yeah, I think so because we've been doing this for like an hour and a half. So
yeah, it is 2 a.m. in London right now.
So we're just calling out Marilyn on that. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for joining in.
Bye-bye.
Hopefully, we'll see you guys at the New Year, New You.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
Have lots of turkey.
Yeah.
All turkey 101.
Oh, that's another event I should talk about. On Thanksgiving Day, in the morning at 9 o'clock, I will be doing free readings on my YouTube channel. So if you don't know my YouTube channel, it is called The Lotus and the Light on YouTube. You can find it, subscribe to it. And then when I go live, you'll just get like a little notification that Uma's going live and you can come in and get a free reading for Thanksgiving because that's my way of saying thank you for your support at the Lotus and the Light Metaphysical Center, and thank you for supporting me in my work. So I want to give back to you guys, okay?
And check out all my things, the healing frequency, healing frequency on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and see what I've got coming up. I'll hold it as a secret.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.